I want to take a look at how the UK government is responding to their outbreak, because it's very different compared to how we are responding to ours. So The Independent says, UK government to pay 80% of wages for those not working during crisis. For the first time in our history, the government is going to step in and help pay people's wages. The government will pay up to 80% of wages for workers at risk of being laid off due to the coronavirus pandemic, the Chancellor has announced. Any employer in the country will be able to apply to HMRC for payments of up to £2,500 per worker per month, just above the median UK income, Rishi Sunak said Friday. So the idea here is, instead of people being fired and the economy like imploding, it looks like people will be furloughed and kept on payroll instead of fired. Genius. So this is a move, again, to do effectively what I've been alluding to a few times on the show, which is like kind of like press pause on the economy. Keep the essential stuff working, the non-essential stuff not, but press pause on the economy. The government's going to step in and pay 80% of the wages for people who are likely to get fired. But they won't get fired now. It'll be furloughed. And it's genius. Again, here in the U.S., they're saying the Fed is predicting our unemployment rate could go anywhere from 20% to 30%. That's Great Depression level unemployment. And the strings attached in the legislation that Congress might pass and, might become law, there aren't strong worker protections. There aren't guarantees that people don't get fired. It's very it's a slush fund for the corporations and crumbs for the workers and for regular people. So what they're doing is smart, and what they're doing, I think, is copying, what was it, the Netherlands who did a similar thing to this? They're paying 75% of the wages for workers in a similar situation. But it's intelligent. It is trying to actually weather the storm, whereas the U.S., there's a lot more we're only going to do so much, and it's not going to be that much. That's the sense I'm getting from what the final bill will likely look like in the U.S. The other thing, I want to show you this, because this is really something else. BBC says, hotel beds have been offered to rough sleepers in London, that's homeless people, to help protect them against coronavirus. About 300 rooms were made available this weekend to vulnerable people already known to homelessness charities as part of an initial trial. London Mayor Sadiq Khan's office is working with Intercontinental Hotels Group, IHG, to block book rooms at a discounted rate for the next 12 weeks. It comes as Londoners and visitors stay away from central London. On Friday, Prime Minister Boris Johnson ordered restaurants, pubs, cafes, and leisure centers to close. Okay, so look at this. This one is really fascinating. No hotels are getting business because there's a freaking global pandemic. Nobody's going anywhere. Nobody's going on vacation. Nobody needs to stay in a hotel. Nobody's going. So in a situation like that, you could really kill two birds with one stone here by keeping the hotels in business, by making a deal with the government where they pay them X amount of money for an extended period of time, but also protecting homeless people and the broader population by housing them and putting them in said hotels. I mean, the fact that when we really need to do it to protect the rest of the population, we could immediately let's end homelessness. It's that easy, huh? Apparently, yes. So they're starting to do this. I think it's a brilliant idea. I think we should do the same here in the U.S. There's been some indications from Gavin Newsom in California that they're going to house the homeless. But from what I've seen since then, it's very similar to just hey, we're going to put these little cots 3 feet apart from other cots and cram everybody in. And you'll probably get coronavirus ripping through these temporary places for them to stay. Why not? Because hotels in the U.S. as well are not getting business. Why not do the same thing that they're doing in the U.K.? I think it makes a hell of a lot of sense. And I think you kill two birds with one stone. You keep the hotel industry alive. Maybe you don't necessarily need just a bailout like we're considering doing here, but you keep them alive and you make sure the homeless population is protected. And by extension, the rest of society is protected because you don't want homeless people spreading it to non-homeless people either on the street. You don't want homeless people to have it because you don't want anybody to have it, but you also don't want non-homeless people to get it from homeless people. So I think the way they're, approaching this problem is intelligent. I like some of these ideas, and I wish we would go at least as far as they're going.